Today we're getting into practical psychology for parents, how to help an angry teen. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, a clinical psychologist with about 30 years of experience now working with teenagers. I know how their minds tick, and I'm going to help you with that. First, two things you need to know about the psychology, and then I'll give you two practical challenges that you can implement right away. Let's start with a practical understanding of what anger is all about. In psychology, we like to refer to anger as a secondary emotion. Well, what does that mean? It means that you experience something else first. Something else is primary, and the anger manifests as a secondary emotion. The primary emotion is typically something like disappointment, or fear, or loss, or sadness. Those feelings sometimes get translated to anger because we don't know what to do with the primary feeling. For teenagers especially, this can be really challenging. They're still reaching a level of emotional maturity that allows them to process and deal with their emotions. And it's a lot easier to just translate it over to anger because anger is an active emotion. It's something that I can wrap my hands around and go do something. Do you feel how anger is that activating emotion? What about disappointment? I'm not sure what to do with that, and this is where teens get stuck sometimes. That's why it's so common to see that anger. But it's also really important to notice how that impacts you. Because anger triggers you. This is a natural response that your brain will have. Anger looks dangerous. And there are parts of your brain that are built in to pick up on those threats and actually secrete chemicals into your bloodstream that power up your body for what we call the fight or flight response. I tell you what, if you ever feel like you need to fight your teen or get away from them, then probably you're experiencing the fight or flight response. Is that making sense to you? It's important to notice that it's going on because your understanding and awareness of that will put you in a position where you can actually start doing something about it. In addition to a basic understanding of anger, we need to have a basic understanding of teen psychology. There's basically 5 things every parent of a teen needs to know. There's a video that you can click on to cue that up to watch next after you finish this video. That will fill you in on the psychology and some practical strategies that you can begin to apply. The short version is that they are still coming to terms with who they are and how they fit. It's really common for teenagers to have feelings of insecurity or lack of confidence because they lack some of the experience that they need to teach them these things. And it's not that anything's wrong with them necessarily. It just means that they're going through developmental processes. One of the developmental tasks that teens are going through is this wrestle between their profound desire to have autonomy and control over their life. They want to be the ones calling the shots, and that's in contrast with an equally profound sense of being inadequate or not good enough, or that they're lacking in the skills or the abilities that they need to actually do that. This creates quite an internal conflict for your teen, and sometimes that's going to manifest as anxiety. Sometimes it's going to come out as depression, and a lot of times we'll see it as anger. They don't have enough experience yet to know exactly how to run their own life. But within the next few years, they need to develop those skills, and that's why it's so important for you as a parent to be there for them. Before I get to those challenges that I promised you, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell too, because then you'll be notified every time we have new content to support you as a parent. Now let's get back to those challenges. Understanding what you already know about anger and about teenage psychology, it puts you in a better position to show up differently for your teenager. And this will make a difference for them as well. Remember, this is not about you. This is about what they're going through and how it impacts you, obviously. It's really important in light of that to take care of yourself. Please do not defer this responsibility to your teenager. That's way too much of a burden for a teen. to take care of you emotionally. You need to do that. So that leads us into the first challenge. Now I'm going to set this up as a 5-day challenge. Just take this on and see what happens. For each of the next 5 days, spend at least 10 minutes each day. And by the way, the time you spend watching these videos counts. You spend at least 10 minutes each day on your own mental hygiene and personal development. And you can do that by any one of the following. Pick one of these. Number 1, watch another video. We've already queued one up if you clicked that card earlier, and you can click on the little eye up there in the corner if you want to see that again. Pick some kind of a video that helps you to improve how you're functioning as a parent, how you're doing personally. This is your personal development. It's your mental hygiene. What I'm trying to do is put you in a position where you can be a more effective parent to your teenager. It's going to require that mental hygiene. So that's one of the things you can do. Pick a video. Number 2, listen to a podcast, an audiobook, something that is geared toward personal development. You can plug in the little earbuds and do this while you're working in the yard or while you're doing your exercise or workout routine. Remember, your commitment or the challenge is that for 5 days in a row, you spend at least 10 minutes doing that. Can you see how easy that's going to be if you've got something queued up to listen to? The third idea is to spend at least 10 minutes in quiet meditation, prayer, mindfulness, solitude, something that allows you to clear some of the noise out of your head and get reconnected to purpose and principle. This is a powerful practice. Now, you might choose to do all 3 of those things, but the challenge is to pick at least one of those and spend 10 minutes each day for the next 5 days on your personal development or mental hygiene. Are you in? Let's give it a try and see what happens. Here's your second challenge, and this is where it comes back to your teenager. This is the one where we focus on and show up for them in a very different way. For the same 5 days, do each of these 3 things for your teen. Number 1, smile. Okay? Bring that smile out. Changing this facial expression will do wonders toward changing the energy of your interaction with your teen. You're going to see less anger. You're going to feel differently yourself as you enter that interaction. They'll probably wonder what you're up to at first because, as I often like to say, when parents are smiling, kids are thinking. It communicates a very different level of confidence from you as a parent. The second thing you'll do every day for the next 5 days is to express appreciation for something that they're already doing well. This requires you to be on the lookout a little bit. You'll find things that they're already doing well. I already know that your teenager is doing some things that you are absolutely pleased about. We get distracted sometimes because we focus on the problems. I'm just asking you to shift the focus. Find something they're already doing well, and daily for 5 days you express your appreciation for that thing. Now, it can be a different thing tomorrow than it is today that you're expressing appreciation for, but you're going to find something every day. And the third thing that I want you to do for this daily challenge for 5 days is to ask them a non-threatening, non-judgmental question. Now, what do I mean by non-threatening and non-judgmental? Okay, did you get that job done? Is not the kind of question I'm talking about. Hey, what were you doing last night? Not in that tone of voice. That's threatening and judgmental. Do you hear that? It's going to put them on the defensive. So I'm talking about the kind of question that can draw them out. Hey, so what do you think about the team? You know, if they're following a favorite sports team, for example, you're going to draw them out. Get them talking about something that they enjoy, that they're interested in. Tell me about is another good way to phrase this question. Hey, tell me about that thing that happened last week, whatever it was. You have to monitor their activities and know what's going on in their life in order to ask really good questions. Ask a non-threatening, non-judgmental question every day. So the 3 things are smile, express appreciation for something they're already doing well, and ask a non-judgmental, non-threatening question. Hey, as you take on those two challenges, I think we're going to see some differences in the dynamics. Come back and share what you've learned. If you'll come back to this video and go down to the comments down below, let's have some conversation, see what's working, and share that with each other. We've also got that next video queued up for you, so watch that one. It's about the 5 things that every parent of a teenager needs to know. I think you're going to enjoy that as well. I'll see you soon.